In the shadow of defeat, Truth Social finds itself confronted by a storm, darkened by the looming legal troubles and diminished political influence of its figurehead. Trump's loss brings with it a cascade of uncertainty, and the platform's very foundation seems unsettled. Here, the magnetism of a leader once perceived as unstoppable now wavers under the weight of public scrutiny and pending court battles, which threaten to pull the company into a vortex of reputational risk. For Trump media, the danger is not merely in the potential loss of user confidence, but in the symbolic blow. A sense that, without the power of office, the aura surrounding Truth Social may begin to erode, taking with it a significant part of its draw. Then comes the threat of investor skepticism. In a landscape where media companies live and die by the confidence of their backers, a leader embroiled in legal issues raises serious red flags. Financial supporters and investors may grow wary, especially as legal entanglements escalate and public perception shifts. If investors sense instability or see Truth Social as increasingly embattled by the controversies surrounding its namesake, they may withdraw support or demand a re-evaluation of the company's strategy. This could lead to severe funding constraints, forcing Truth Social into cost-cutting measures that hinder growth and weaken its competitive edge in a market driven by innovation and constant development. Regulatory pressures may likewise take on a new and hostile tone under an opposing administration. Should the political tide shift toward tighter control of all platforms, Truth Social might find itself under intensified scrutiny, facing stricter policies on content, moderation, and data transparency. The government could implement new restrictions or even threaten penalties, particularly if it perceives Truth Social's approach to content as out of alignment with societal standards or as a risk to public safety. The pressure to comply with potentially invasive regulations could force Trump media to alter its operations, thereby challenging its stance as a bastion of unfiltered discourse. Additionally, there is the risk of advertiser aversion intensifying to a breaking point. Even before an election loss, Truth Social struggled to attract mainstream advertisers wary of polarizing affiliations. With Trump out of office and facing legal battles, the risk of associating with the platform may become untenable for many. Major brands may feel they have more to lose than gain by advertising on Truth Social, narrowing the field of potential partners to a few niche brands, if any at all. This shift would restrict revenue generation opportunities and undermine the financial foundation that any growth strategy requires. Competitively, the absence of political power may expose Truth Social to a brutal field of rivals, where its ideological stance becomes less of a strength and more of a limitation. While mainstream platforms continue to diversify and innovate, Truth Social's niche appeal may begin to fade, with users drawn away by platforms offering broader functionality or greater entertainment value. In a market as saturated and fast-paced as social media, losing traction often spells a swift descent, especially without the high-profile presence that once served as the platform's gravitational pull. On top of all this, Truth Social faces an existential threat to its community's morale and coherence. With Trump's legal battles taking center stage, users may become disenchanted or fatigued, sensing that the original mission of the platform, anchored in Trump's influence, has lost its direction. Should morale dip, user retention rates could follow as people look for other outlets to voice their sentiments. Without the unity provided by a clear leader, the platform risks becoming a fractured community, vulnerable to diminishing engagement and dwindling relevance. Thus, Trump media and Truth Social find themselves at a crossroads marked by the gravest of threats: reputational collapse, regulatory pressure, financial instability, and competitive obsolescence. In this post-election landscape, the platform must weather a perfect storm, each wave of legal and financial consequence driving it toward an uncertain future. Only time will tell if it can find a way through the turbulence, or if it will be consumed by the very forces it once rode to prominence.